Namaste and welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to share with you a dear colleague of mine, my current chiropractor healer, and an amazing friend as well. She's become. I have so much new to share with you. I've been kind of holding back, and today you'll find out why. what's been brewing under the surface. So I wanted to introduce Dr. Suzanne McBride, a network chiropractor, and why that's unique. And I just wanted to say, 30 years ago, I was introduced to chiropractic through network chiropractic. No one had heard of this very energetic, light touch entrainment process, but I wouldn't let anyone else touch me for years who didn't have that level, either Reiki or network chiropractic, because everything else felt so heavy and invasive and unnecessarily strong-handed in terms of how the body can adjust to the subtle energies that we're opening for them. So I wanted to introduce you, and I'd like you to share a little bit about your healing journey personally and professionally.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to meet you all. Thank you, Kumari, I'm so enjoying our teaming up and getting to know each other this last year. So I agree with what you were just saying. What drew me to network chiropractic was it was the first time I realized how gentle you can be and affect such massive change. And as I get more and more clarity around that, as I've grown in this field, it's presence versus force. And one of the first nuggets of truth I found in network is we are never looking for what's wrong with people. And we're always looking for what's working and what's right. And where your attention goes, your energy flows. So I can be really gentle because I'm not going to go to the part of your body that's owie and killing you and all this bad stuff. I'm going to find that portal and that entryway into the part of you that can receive information and energy. It already has energy. So when an area is depleted, feeling separate, feeling pain, that kind of stuff, it's got information for you. But there's no energy there. It's like trying to deal with a child or talk to a child that's throwing a tantrum. So, okay, a child's throwing a tantrum, the child's not going to take in what you're trying to say. So we find other areas with network that are open and available and juicy and welcoming. And then when we bring more energy to that, then it says, yes, 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 yes. And then the part of the body that's not getting attention is like, wait, but I'm in pain. You're not paying attention to me. And you're like, no, I'm feeling great over here. So then the pain part's like, okay, I'll start feeling better too. And then the pain part starts up leveling and you get more energy. And when you add energy to something, it's a higher frequency. So it can go from a frequency of hopelessness or anger or frustration to curiosity, to joy, maybe even gratitude. So it's been a really fun dance learning network chiropractic. I'm extremely excited I found it. I was that person that was in a lot of pain. My body was talking to me and I didn't know how to listen to it at all. I dismissed it. I tried to fix it. There was many years in my life I couldn't walk. I had hip pain. I had this pain. I had that pain. And one day this girl, I was at chiropractic school and this woman walked in and was a friend of mine. And she goes, Suzanne, it's emotional. I can feel it from here. And I was like, F you. If it's emotional, what do I do about it? And then she's like, well, you can come over to my house. I'm practicing this thing. And I was really pissed because there was a lot of anger in me. So that was my emotion, but it spurred something in me. I said, oh, if it's emotional, I had no idea you could do anything about it. And that started it. It was my 8th network visit. I got in my car and I started singing. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I stopped singing. Oh my God, I'm depressed. Oh my God, where have I been? And it was just, I called her. I said, I will do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. And I started getting my life back. So that's my.
Wow, I love this. I hadn't heard that story.
I go all the way and learn how to do it and help other people. It woke me up. And now I know the truth about when you focus on something and you give it your all, what you can create from that.
I love that conversation with the body, finding a place that is more open, that is working a bit better. I studied counseling and worked as an attorney. I did many things before I got the very strong nudge to be a healer. And I know that you can't really fix things from the energy of the problem, right? You have to find a place where there's an opening and a welcoming. And I know early on in the healing work, I've been doing healing for 33 years now, as a Reiki master and many other modalities now. But I remember early years, we spent a lot of time working with the trapped emotions, the stuck, repressed emotions. And that was the way to help people to heal. But there's so much more available now. We were just chatting about this. So I wanted to share that as well. I too got a nudge. I was a lawyer, a civil rights attorney, and it was through personal problems, if you will. My father died very young, very suddenly, of lung cancer at age 60. And this was back in 1988. And I remember sitting at his bedside in ICU thinking, there's got to be more I can do for him besides just wipe the lemon drop, you know, and moisten his lips. I just felt so, I had no idea what more was at that time. I knew nothing of this world that we're speaking of now, the energetic world, but I had a deep longing to never go through that without offering more to ease suffering. And understanding death and life and all that's in between became my sole focus. So you might not be surprised that within a few months after my father's death, I'm introduced to a meditation master and a whole new way of being and living. And right after that, a Reiki master offered a class, which I really didn't think I believed in. At that time, I was very, you know, in my logical, rational, critical mind. And yet something else inside of me said, jump in this class, even though you don't think it's real. So I understand about skepticism and resistance. And I also honor it because we don't really have to believe in something for it to actually have an impact on us, like your story as well. You didn't have to know all about network to have results. And so my journey of 33 years of healing took me through many of those people who didn't have a belief system yet for holding this idea that the body has this amazing healing wisdom within it, and that we all have amazing spiritual connection, but much of it is kind of on the back burner, if you will, or a little bit sleepy, not really online.
Well, we're not mainstream. We're not taught it either. We're not taught to value our emotions, that our emotions are our guidance system. And we're not taught that our body is giving us messages. We're really taught like, oh, this hurts, go fix it, versus listen to it.
Yeah.
And I'll say one of the biggest joys, I was meditating this morning and I have a whole world inside of me when I used to feel nothing. And when I felt nothing, I didn't know it. I was oblivious to the fact that I felt nothing, but I used to look to the external world to know how I feel. Now I can go inside and I just like smile because there's a whole world in me. And so one of the things with this embodiment I wanted to talk with you about and ask you about is, so like the benefits of this type of care that we're doing. I think one of the benefits, I've worked with healers that have got amazing psychic abilities with a low connection to their body. And so when you develop the psychic abilities, but you haven't handled some of the psychological or emotional or bodily stuff, there's this inconsistency, and it can be like a roller coaster and exhaustion. And it can show up in so many different ways. And so one of the things I'm noticing with my care and when we combine care is getting that beautiful energy into the body expands the psychic and intuitive and channeling capacities even more, and creates a safety for the person to want to be on this planet.
I love that you brought this up. This is such an issue for me for many, many years. I've been noticing highly spiritual people, often healers and teachers and leaders, conscious leaders. They can be more and more ensconced, if you will, in the spiritual realms and become very ungrounded. What we're suggesting with this embodiment, enlightened embodiment or embodied enlightenment, whichever way you think of it.
Like that, enlightened embodiment.
Yeah, that this possibility of heaven coming to earth is why we're here in physical form. You know, it used to be in the olden times, we were taught from the scriptures that enlightenment happened on transition out of this life, that many people did not reach that pinnacle. There's a whole new possibility now. And it's about exactly what you said, integrating and accessing the fullness of the soul running through the physicality, running through the cells and the DNA and all of the organs and the pineal gland, everything being enlivened at this amazing higher consciousness vibrational level. And so I see that as a great need of the day, and what some of your work enabled me to do. I've been processing for many years, many months, 7 months now, 8 months, a brand new level. I haven't been able to articulate it. I hope I put a few words on it now as I'm starting to see the outlines of what is possible. I have gone through, well, I taught a Divine Human course since 2012. It's become a year-long effort, and sometimes I work on one new thing for 4 and 5 and 7 years myself, and then I teach it in a module in this course, and they all just pop in, you know. So at the end of that, in October, I felt such an amazing accomplishment, a fulfillment, a divine purpose, big fat check. And I thought, what more is possible? You know, I was in such an amazing space. And then my body started going through this divine dance, and it wasn't so divine at times, but a great up leveling occurred within it was very bone deep this time. And I'm just coming out of it. Part thanks to your work helping me. I think one of the times I was on the table with you, I could access the bliss that was out here, fully in here. Every part of me was tingling and enlivened, and I was like so happy. We put hashtag I love my body on this new event that we're collaborating with, because
and I love what you said. I want you to point this out too, because what you're saying, the body gets enlivened, the soul gets into the body. And I love the way you say we no longer need to work with the dramas and traumas. And also that it can become effortless and easy. So even if you and I are frontline workers and we've put in years of stuff to exquisitely and sometimes learn to how to teach this, that people don't have to go through that.
I've seen so many of my students pop in. I would say, now this could be challenging, or you might have a difficult time at first. It might be a lot of magnetic, you know, resistance to the new flow and the new space we're entering. You know, one of them was unplugging from aging as a paradigm, as a structural paradigm. And they all just popped in. What took me years to get for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, you know, and then they just went, oh yeah.
We can say you're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
And all of those that went before us as well have helped us to step into this new paradigm.
I know I'm standing on very strong shoulders. I have been taught by some amazing people that have become friends and community and allowed me to grow exponentially. It's amazing.
So when you asked me to do this new embodiment play shop, inviting more soul into our physicality, I said immediately yes, because the little nigglings that I was getting, what was next, I almost had to stop the process. Everything I've been teaching, except the one mastery course, I've had to put a hold on practically, because there was something new evolving and I hadn't gotten the parameters of it yet. But when you asked me to do this collaboration, my soul just went, yes, this is it. We need to help the other healers, the teachers, the spiritual conscious people who are ready to begin to invite more soul in, and our work will help them to easily digest that level of light codes that sometimes can be kind of blasting. I know for me, it's right now, it's just like, boop, open the crown chakra, boop, call in more soul, boop, let go of that old trauma. And I know for a fact that you're at that level as well. And so it will not be a play shop of digging into old stuff. Right. We will definitely not go anywhere near that, although it can emerge as part of the clearing and releasing and repatterning, or awareness of what we've been holding that was so dense. It is so not going to be a linear kind of digging into our painful moments and stressful. I mean, there might be a comment of, oh, you need to forgive your mother here, you know, which I can just tune into. But so much of it is, I think, reclaiming the self with a capital S, you know, the rest of us here, not going up and out like we described. And this was really a very masculine form of enlightenment. In the past, you had to go to a cave, you know, the sages would spend all these years detaching, very transpersonal. I believe there is a new emerging divine feminine form of enlightenment, which is this full-on embodied enlightenment, where you bring that conscious awareness into every moment. And I have to say, I'm starting to live more and more in that place where everywhere I look, I see light and beauty and harmony surrounds me. For instance, one of my husband's assistant noticed something that is just my norm anymore. I didn't even notice it here in Aruna, which is the name for our beautiful space here. He said, you know, I have to watch where I step in your yard, in your garden. He said, because all the wildlife doesn't naturally run away and hide and disperse. He goes, you know, he lives about 10 miles away. He said, in my home, they're lizards, but you never see them. They're like always running. Everything's always running and hiding. Here, you literally have to stop because you'll step on them, because they don't feel. And I went, oh, that's the harmony. That's the peace. That's the lack of fear in our field, in the vibrational field that we can step into, that now says you're safe. It's okay. There's so much love and acceptance, and there's none of that early warning, you know, danger, danger. And so it's literally unfolding. Yeah.
Because we're doing the event at Aruna. It is like the Garden of Eden. It is this magical safe space full of wildlife and peace and high vibration and harmonics. And as you discuss the divine feminine and the safety and all that, like literally I can feel my pelvis, my like uterus is doing a happy dance and my third eye is working at the same time. Like the deeper you get into your pelvis and your legs and your feet on this earth, this can just open into this beautiful wholeness.
Yeah, there's something, a beautiful seer or sage from South Africa said recently, I just reread it, just very recently, she said that there is a coherent, unified field within nature. And when we're in nature, as we have done our empowerment work and our interpersonal work and our enlightenment work, as we have raised our vibrational frequency, we begin to have an energy signature or a resonant frequency in our field that then connects to all of nature's field. And that's where the magic and the miracles begin to be very, very accessible. Wildlife was just the one, but this place of co-creation with the divine becomes just effortless. You know, we are able to tap into the abundance, the beauty, the harmony, the well-being that we're all seeking, and that ease and flow, and it's just much easier. So the field here will make these this play shop that much more accessible for those. That's why I wanted to do it here. And you had asked me earlier to share what I see as possible or what's unfolding in the field. And I answered because I only just recently have an answer for that. It's been such a fog lately. And I realized because from here on, we are needing to co-create it together. There's not a thing happening out there. It's happening in here. And when enough of us can align and entrain to that higher and higher and higher possibility paradigm of co-creation and ease and freedom and harmony and well-being and abundance and joy and everything that we all long for in a body, that we are able to access what I'm now seeing for myself and for individuals, at least, a new blueprint, an upgraded divine human blueprint. The templates are in place. This is the messaging I got recently. The Garden of Eden template, that possibility of living in that highest level harmony is in place. And I don't mean it as a garden here in I'm working on it very personally, but the energetic template now exists again within our reality. And it was pulled, as many of us were just not able to come anywhere near that possibility. But what I got recently was I won't be working on these abstract energies to bring them into the field so much as I will be working with individuals to open to what's been brought in, what's already in place. So that's the great news, that the table, the co-creator table, I just got total God bumps, is set for whoever is willing to sit at it.
Exactly. And what you just differentiated versus you doing something and giving it to someone, creating the space for them to open up to it themselves.
Yeah. And I sort of feel that I don't want to teach anymore. I don't want to talk to people about ideas and beliefs and concepts and intentions. And I just want to be in my space, inviting others to play with me. And that's what I'm hoping and praying that we'll be facilitating. I already know, I can tell.
Yeah. I got a lot of feedback from my last event that the healing was amazing, but the community and just being. Yeah. So the opportunity to slow down and be in presence and participate in these spiritual practices that open us up to our own divinity. I'm very excited. Yay.
I'm excited too that people don't have to do what I did, which is spend hundreds of thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours perhaps, in chant and mantra and spiritual practices and deep meditation. I mean, I was at one time doing 7 hours plus working full time. And I was joyfully doing it because it was the path, it's what I needed. But I can happily say, I don't think that that is required. It doesn't mean you don't have to do the inner processing and empowerment work and alignment work. But the energetics are so much easier now that I think so many more of us can just pop in, like you said, whoa, something that took me 4 years, they just jumped into that frequency. It just shocks me constantly what's available and how quickly people can entrain to that. Can you speak of entrainment from your perspective, that word? It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I love that word so much. And it comes from, or I read an article once that it comes from an old clockmaker, and that he would make all his clocks and then put them all on the walls. I mean, they would be all tick-tocking at their own frequency. And then he'd come back after the weekend and they'd all be tick-tocking together. Or, the story, women go to college and they start living in the dorms together and they start cycling together. Right. So with entrainment, it's entraining frequencies. So network, I work with the tone of the body versus regular chiropractic might be a segment. You push on a segment to affect change in the system. I feel the tone, the frequency, and the vibration of the body. And I want the cardiovascular system communicating with the respiratory system, communicating with the musculoskeletal system. So what happens in a family or in a business or relationship when you have good communication? Things flow, things are at ease. There's not dissonance, but there's coordination and communication. So entrainment, I want to entrain all your frequencies. People just feel better. Anxiety goes away. Depression can go away. Pressure, pain, so many things can just go away when there's a coordination and an entrainment of your frequencies and an organization. So where I feel like right now men are getting permission to feel. And then women who may have been considered too sensitive, or it was over a bombardment of aberrant frequencies in their body. So that maybe they're too emotional or anxious or it gets organized. And it's like, oh, you can be empowered and emotional. Yes. Sensitivity can be a gift. Like it can turn into a gift instead of this wound of like all over just combobulated stuff. So yeah, I love the word entrainment and the opportunity and all it does is just create communication. And the nervous system. So you're talking a lot about the energetic field, and we're kind of bridging into the fifth dimension, the quantum, the holograms, but we'll stay back from that for now. But the nervous system, I feel like, is that bridge between information and getting into wisdom. So by organizing and removing interference from the nervous system, where there's weight and time and space and then linear world, there's this area that when you create coherency, you can manifest from it. You can create the life of your dreams. You can enter the divine. So it's like information to wisdom is available.
I love that. And as a Reiki master many years ago, the beauty of Reiki to me was not the one-to-one healing, which was enormous. That's where I started with. I wanted to be able to help my dad, even though it was after the fact. I didn't want to be in that position again without feeling like there was more of me coming to the table to be able to give to people who were suffering. And of course, hopefully, the possibility of more miraculous and spontaneous healings was always catapulting me forward. But when I began to teach, I was drawn to the fact that it wasn't just about me being a healer. It wasn't just about special people or spiritual people or anything, that we all had this innate ability to reconnect, to reopen our healing channels. And Reiki means, the word means universal life force. And so being in this entrainment experience, I was given a few tips about how to open, from my lineage of Reiki masters. But the truth is, none of us knew exactly what we were doing, but we did know that there was divine transmission, if you will, or spiritual transmission, or this unified field entrainment to a higher level of order, a higher level of functioning, a higher level of well-being, harmony, wisdom, and accessibility to the divine aspects of self, all right here. And being in that, getting out of the way of it, because it's never my energy. Reiki has never been my energy, but it opened up that space of awe of what is possible for all of us, because I would teach brand new people, even children, and they would go out and have miracle healings, what we call miracle healings, tumors disappearing and pain and not needing surgeries and all sorts of things happening. Not from me, who's been a practitioner for 30 years. So a lot of people say, oh, well, Kumari maybe can do that. Or someone like Suzanne can do that, but not me. And the beauty of it is, in a moment, people can reclaim that empowered spiritual essence that always was a part of us. We've just lost a little track of it, lost touch with it. So
yeah, it's available to everyone. We're living a really beautiful, amazing time. It's available to everyone.
And this idea of entrainment or transmission or initiation, if you will, going directly to the energetic resonance and finding a way to connect that up. It's not even a how, it's just a what. It does connect up, as you said. So as our consciousness evolves and raises up our vibration, we make that more and more accessible to others. And it can be easier and easier and quicker. So we chose to do a half day. I used to do 3 days. I used to feel like I needed more time to get people in focus, into the alignment, to be able to open and let go of the old. And we just both said, yeah, half day is plenty. Half day will do it. And I just wanted to share that we will be offering some spiritual practices, yes, that we've all learned to bump up the frequency and create the resonance, the coherence. But we're also doing something I've never done with another chiropractor, but I haven't done in a long time. And that is some hands-on bodywork healing alignment. And it's reminiscent. I shared with you a while back about a body of work I was really drawn to. I had only done Reiki for so long because I felt like it was an endless, there's no end to universal life force. There's no finite, oh, I learned that, I'm done. It was an ever evolving, ever expanding opening and connectedness that I was feeling. So I held off from learning the next thing. But this work grabbed my attention way back when. It was called Grounded Ascension. And I do believe that's the path that we all need to be on. Yes, we're evolving spiritually, but like you said, sometimes the tendency is want to go up and out because it feels lighter and easier and airier and not so challenging, is anchoring back in to a form that holds some old programs, old, heavy, denser energies. And and there's some cleanup on all 7, perhaps.
Yes.
And so the tendency to go up and out is very strong for a lot of spiritual people. I see that as a major problem, actually. Coming back here in this grounded ascension way, it's that embodied enlightenment. It's finding ways to fully inhabit our form from a level of soul.
Yes,
I do believe it's very timely, and my guidance has been, this is the work I will be doing for the rest of my life, is helping people to access and integrate what's here, but may require a little assembly required.
I love
in order to, go ahead.
No, clean up on aisle 7 and expired, and that's, then you're on your way.
Yeah, so I'd like to invite everybody. We started out with setting up 2 dates. I foresee that we may be doing more. And I'm just going to direct people to the website, Connected Spine, which is Suzanne's beautiful site, Connected Spine /embodiment. And we spelled it with EmBODYment because we wanted to focus on loving the body as the form for our spiritual ascension and enlightened journey.
Yes. Yeah, so the first 2 events are June 4th, which is a Saturday, 2022, and July 9th, which is a Saturday, 2022. So if you're feeling called and you're available, we would love to have you join us.
It will be a smaller group since we are doing hands-on work for everyone, which is going to be really extraordinary. So thank you for your time and your willingness to share your journey with us, and for all of you for listening. I hope you've gained something from this, and we would love to see you in the future at one of our embodiment play shops. Namaste.